Good morning and welcome. My name is Reverend Dr. Ron Fox, and I would like to welcome you to the Sunday celebration for the Center for Spiritual Living Space Coast. And as we've been doing these last several weeks, my wife Becky, who's a practitioner emeritus, is going to open us. And this morning, Becky is going to read a meditation from the book 365 Days of Richer Living by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker. So, Becky?
So I just invite all of you to turn within. Relax. Let go of this morning's activities. Just take in some deep breaths, letting them go. And as I read this morning's meditation, just take it in as if it was meant for you. Today, I consciously share in the gifts of life. I open my whole thought and my whole being to the divine influx. I empty myself of everything that denies this good I so fervently desire. I establish my mind in expectancy, a feeling that all the good there is must belong to everyone who will take it. I am receiving the divine gift right now. I am entering into the spiritual inheritance which life has willed that every person should possess. Today, I am seeing the gift of life coming to me from every source. And even as it comes into my outstretched hands, uplifted to receive it, I enjoy the gift and I pass it on. Freely, I give everything I have, blessing the gift as it passes through me to others, that it may be multiplied in their experience and in God's good way come back again to me. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you so much, Becky. So, the title of my message this morning is These Hands. And I've been trying these last few weeks, since we've been meeting on the internet rather than meeting in person, to try to make my talks relevant and helping everybody to live with the restrictions that we have due to this coronavirus. And I hope that I've been doing that. And so what I want to speak to today is being there for each other. And perhaps Teresa of Avila said it best when she wrote, Christ has no body now but yours, no hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes through which he looks compassion on this world. Yours are the feet with which he walks to do good. Yours are the hands through which he blesses all the world. Yours are the hands, yours are the feet, yours are the eyes. You are his body. Christ has no body here on earth but yours. I think what she's telling us is that we experience God through one another, and we're all members of the same family, the world family. And now in this time of crisis, we see it all around us, what that means. We see first responders coming to our aid. We see all kinds of medical people risking their lives to save our lives. We see supermarket clerks continuing to work and putting their health at risk so we can have food on our table. We see pharmacies open so we can all still get our medicine. We see restaurateurs trying not just to save their business, but to help us have some meals. It's all around us. And what it is ordinary people doing extraordinary things. They're all human, just like you and just like me. So I want to talk about something I read in the book, The Power of Flow. And I actually kind of talked a little bit about it on our Tuesday Zoom call, but I want to do it in more detail today. There is a word in Japan, in Japanese, that's called Naikan, Naikan. And translated, it means looking inside. It's a Japanese approach to behavior change. It cultivates gratitude in people, and they use it to turn troubled teens and to rehabilitate criminals. It looks at life from the point of view of receiving. So let me give you a really simple example. Ordering a salad in a restaurant. It's the outcome of a farmer planting seeds, the sunlight coming down, workers harvesting the crops, truckers driving the crops, wholesalers marketing it, restaurant suppliers selecting it, a chef preparing it, and a server bringing it to your table. Your shoes, your bed, your car, all are the product of thousands of hands helping to bring them to you. And when we look at life like this, we can't help but to see its interconnectedness. We see how much we receive, and that leads us to ask, what can I give back? We realize that we are all the product of a network of caring. So here's an exercise we can all do. Tonight, before you go to bed, go into a quiet place, or even in the bed before you go to sleep, and ask yourself 2 simple questions. What did I receive from others today? And what did I give others today? What did I receive from others today? And what did I give from others today? I think that'll help us realize over and over how much we are a network of caring. You know, Deepak Chopra, in one of his books, I think it's the 7 Laws of Success, says that the second spiritual law of success is the law of giving. And then he says it could actually be called the law of giving and receiving, because the universe operates through dynamic exchange. Nothing is static. Every relationship is part of a give and a take. Giving engenders receiving, and receiving engenders giving. And if you stop the flow of either, you interrupt nature. And Deepak says what's most important is your intention. And all of us should have the intention of bringing happiness wherever we are. If you want joy, bring joy to others. If you want love, bring love to others. Let me read you something from the late Reverend Norman Vincent Peale. He wrote, "When you discover the wonder of giving, you will wonder how you could have lived so long in any other way. It is the key that opens the door to every good thing in your life. It opens up the door to the good you have been seeking and gives life to every new dimension. It gives you the feeling and the knowing that truly you live in an abundant and plentiful universe, and it is yours. It can be one of the greatest discoveries of your life. When you become a committed giver, you can no more back to the old way of living than you can go back to prehistoric times. And he's not talking about money. He's talking about giving of yourself, giving to others. Mary Morrissey has written several books, and in one of them, one of the chapter headings is Philanthropy of the Soul. Philanthropy of the Soul. And in it, she tells a story of a man who's having some financial difficulties. And he's got a brother in show business who's really doing well off financially. And so one year, the brother decides to give every member in his family a gift that they have always wanted. So he gives this particular brother the sports car that he's always dreamed about having. And this fellow is thrilled to get that gift. And so what he does, he gets in the car and he just starts driving. And he finds himself in a poor neighborhood. And as he's driving, he sees a young boy staring wide-eyed at the car. So he pulls over and he revs the engine a couple of times for the little boy. And the little boy says, "What a cool car." And the fella says, "Yes, my brother gave it to me." And the little boy says, "Boy, I hope someday." And this fella thinks he's going to say, "I have a brother like that." But instead he says, "I hope someday I can be a brother like that." Isn't that a beautiful story? In The Prophet, Khalil Gibran writes, "You say, I would give, but only to the deserving. The trees in your orchard say, not so. They give that they shall live, for to withhold is to perish." So in a really wonderful book titled The Power of Giving by Azim Jamal and Harvey McKinnon, they ask the very simple question, in a world of pain and suffering, what can I do? And that question is so relevant in today's world where so many are suffering from the virus, so many are suffering economically, and there's so much fear and confusion going around. What can I do? And their very simple answer to the question is, you can give. You can give. We all have something to give, whether it's time, whether it's money, whether it's wisdom, whether it's love. And they ask the question, why should we give? We should give because we've all gotten so much. Stop and think for a minute. All we've gotten from our parents, from other relatives, from friends, from teachers, from strangers, from people everywhere. We wouldn't be where we are in our life if we hadn't gotten from other people. And so, what are some things we can give? We can give love, we can give laughter, we can give hope, we can give knowledge, we can give leadership, we can give life, we can give time, we can give skills, we can give money, we can give attention, we can give advice, and we can give our ears, we can give listening. You know, I heard a story, I read a story years ago about a gentleman who was very active in his Catholic church, and his wife passes away, and the senior minister is away on vacation, and the only priest left in the parish is a young man in his first first duties. So he goes to the home to sit with the widower. And he can't think of anything to say. And he just sits there for an hour, for 2 hours. They just sit together. And when the young priest leaves, he kicks himself, and he believes he's so inadequate that he did nothing. And about a week later, he gets a letter from this widower telling him how much he appreciated him being there and how much he did for him. We sometimes overlook how much power the simple act of listening can do. Rumi once told a story of a man who walks by a beggar and asks, "Why, God, do you not do something for these people?" And God responds, "I did do something. I made you." We're all here to be for one another. As Teresa said, we are God's eyes, we are God's arms, we are God's feet. You know, generosity is giving from the heart. It makes no demands. It seeks no favors. You get, you give. And often what you get is the opportunity to help others. You know, Jesus said, "As you give, so shall you receive." So I want to step aside a little bit, not completely, just a little. In one of his books, Lama Surya Das talks about Viktor Frankl. And he notes how Viktor Frankl said that when we ask, what is the meaning of life, we're not asking the right question. He said that in the camps, what is the meaning of life really didn't mean anything. What meant was, what does life expect from us? What does life expect from us? And he said the meaning of life must be discovered by living. And we each must find our own meaning. And he said we can ask questions like, what is most meaningful to me? What do I care about the most? Who or what would I actually devote myself to? What is my life all about? So I want to read to you something from the Bible. It's Luke 25 through 37, and we have come to know it as the story of the Good Samaritan. And behold, a lawyer stood up to put him to the test, saying, "Teacher, what shall I do to inherit eternal life?" And he said to him, "What is written in the law? How do you read?" And Jesus answered, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself." And he said to him, "You have answered right. Do this, and you will live." But he, the lawyer, desiring to justify himself, said to Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" Jesus replied, "A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho, and he fell among robbers, who stripped him and beat him and departed, leaving him half dead. Now by chance, a priest was going down the road, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. So likewise, a Levite, when he came to the Samaritan as he journeyed, came to where he was, and when he saw him, so likewise a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed on by the other side. But a Samaritan, as he journeyed, came to where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion. And he went to him and bound up his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. Then he set him on his own beast and brought him to an inn and took care of him. And the next day he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper, saying, I will repay you when I come back. Take care of him. And Jesus said, which of these 3 do you think proved neighbor to the man who fell among the robbers? And he said, the one who showed him mercy. And Jesus said to him, go and do likewise. So let me give you a little background. The Samaritans were a mixed race people, and they were rejected by the Jews. And the Jews and the Samaritan had long-standing feuds, which sometimes gave way to violence. So in this story, we see a priest, a rabbi, who sees one of his own and he crosses the street. We see a Levite do the same thing. But we see this, in effect, sworn enemy come to him, have compassion, give him wine, give him oil, take him to an inn, and tell the innkeeper, whatever it takes, take care of him, and I'll come back and I'll pay you. The message is to love everyone, because on some level, we are all neighbors. We're all neighbors. In the book, The Gentle Art of Blessing by Pierre Pradervand, he says we can all give blessings. It's one of the great gifts that we can give to one another. And we can do it silently. When we get up in the morning, we can bless the day even before we get out of bed. Passing people on the street, we can give them a silent blessing. At work, we can silently bless our coworkers. On the road, we can silently bless the people in the cars that we see, even the people that won't let us in or that are cutting us off. And when we're talking to people, we can bless them for their health. We can bless them for their work. We can bless them to have joy in their life. We can bless their finances. We can bless their relationships. And of course, we can bless ourselves. Let me read you just a piece of a letter that he got from somebody in Africa who read this book. He said, I have started to turn blessing into an everyday experience. In all situations, it has become a part of my marrow. And each day, it fills me more and more. It has started to sharpen my sense of sharing, of justice, of equality, and solidarity. I am becoming more patient, more tolerant, forbearing, and understanding, and sensitive to everything that affects my neighbor. Let me close with an old Chinese saying. If you want happiness for an hour, take a nap. If you want happiness for a day, go fishing. If you want happiness for a year, inherit a fortune. If you want happiness for a lifetime, help somebody. Thank you for being here. God bless you, and have a wonderful week.